Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here inside FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you, live every Thursday, 5:30 here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. The home of FNLNH is, of course, FNLNH Media on YouTube. Big show today. We're going to bring Pete Terrier in from the New Hampshire Sports Page at about 5:45, an interview years in the making. Looking forward to catching up with my old colleague. And then Coach Talk as we preview this weekend's game of the week. Salem's Steve Abraham returns to the show, longtime friend. He's slated for 6 o'clock. And then Brian O'Reilly, now 45 years on the job as head coach of Pinkerton Academy. Blue Devils and Astros meet Friday night under the lights in Salem, and we will be there with a live call in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire game of the week, presented by Beals Insurance. Coverage begins at about 6:45. Kickoff is slated for 7 o'clock. And then Saturday, we get our first Division II matchup of the season. Trinity at Plymouth, two big championship contenders battling in Division II. Pioneers and Bobcats. That's a 1 o'clock kick on Saturday. Our coverage begins at 12:45. So, Steve, two games to cover this weekend. I know you're excited. Huge Division I showdown, big D2 showdown coming up on Saturday. Your thoughts?
Week 3, 4, and 5, Nick. If things continue to flow in the direction they have so far, it's going to be an incredible 3 weeks, and we're gonna know an awful lot across Division I and Division II after that. I mean, I can't wait to talk to Pete Terrier. Pete's very knowledgeable down in the Division II, 3, and 4 area. I can't wait to talk to him about that. But this matchup with the two matchups that we have this weekend are marquee matchups with a lot of history that goes between these teams, that being Pinkerton at Salem, and then always going up to the friendly North Country up in Plymouth, which, as you know, I know so well. I lived up there for a number of years, and Plymouth is a very special place to visit a game. Such history up there, and Trinity and Plymouth just are just the way that they've played so far this year. We can talk about that, I'm sure. Are just playing at a very high level. One of the things I really like about both of these games is I'm glad it wasn't week 1 and 2. We're going in week 3 where these teams have had a chance to develop, correct their errors, probably more the body of work that's gone in from the first and second game is they're probably maturing. We're pretty close to getting into, if not into mid-season form, which is going to give us, I think, a more accurate sense of where they are. You can always improve all the way up to the playoffs, but both of these teams are clearly going to be ready to go with the two coaches, the 4 coaches that and their assistants that run these 4 teams. It's just going to be an incredible weekend, and it's going to be gorgeous. Football time.
Absolutely. Friday night, the media is taking notice of the game. I'm sure they are. The two teams, Pinkerton and Salem, are number 1 and 3 in the latest New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll. The defending champs in the top spot again for the 3rd straight week. Salem climbs up to number 3. And as we know, both teams have looked good early on this season. Salem squeaked by with a touchdown late to beat Concord by 1 score and then put up 48 in a huge blowout win over Alvern. Pinkerton has had no trouble so far either, outscoring their 2 opponents by big margins. So it's number 1 versus number 3, at least according to the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll on Friday night. Some other games in Division I that'll have our attention. Of course, we'll have a live scoreboard during our broadcast Friday night, but how about Portsmouth and Memorial out east? That's an early big game as well. Clippers looking to rebound after a shootout loss against Exeter in week 2. Memorial is 2-0 following a blowout victory over Dover. And Concord really kind of created some buzz, Steve, by beating Londonderry in week number 2. They even their record to 1-1, looking for their 2nd straight win on the road against Manchester Central. The Little Green are hoping for their first victory, but that one I think took a lot of folks by surprise. The fact that the Crimson Tide came in and beat Londonderry the way that they did. Of course, the Lancers, that's their first loss, and they're a perennial power under longtime head coach Jimmy Lozon.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. If you look at three teams, Concord, Salem, and Londonderry, you can get a good feel of how good these teams are. Salem beats Concord not by a wide margin, and then Concord beats Londonderry, and not by a wide margin. Enough, but more. But those three teams are going to be teams to watch. But Salem has clearly demonstrated, and Concord has clearly demonstrated they are for real. And if they can have a good 2 or 3 weeks over the next weeks, they are going to be solid contenders, given where they are right now. Memorial, again, beat Central Providence. I think they're a pretty good team, 14-13. Certainly shows they're competitive. Dover struggling right now. So as far as Manchester Memorial is concerned, but they did what they needed to do. They beat them 30-6. So what can you say against them? They've clearly shown that they're 2-0 and they've earned both of those wins against a good team and a team that struggled a little bit by a wide margin. So the 2-0 club, Bedford, Nashua North, Exeter, Manchester Memorial, Winnicott, Salem, and Pinkerton. And we've just got probably the top game tomorrow night at Salem. Folks, tune in to Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, and because you're going to see a showdown between two great coaches. Steve Abraham's got to be very, very pleased at where his team sits right now. And this has been going on, Nick. How many years has this been going on? 40 years, 45 years at least, right? Pinkerton, Salem, back into the 70s, as far as I remember. So, going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, of course, both teams looking to stay unbeaten. Salem, they took down Pinkerton in last year's regular season. The Astros, of course, rallied after that to win the Division I championship. Other games this weekend
I was just going to say, in Division 2,
go ahead.
Oh, you're going to go over those. I was going to say, Division 2, you've got 4 2-0 teams. You got Pelham, Sauhegan, Trinity, and Plymouth. That's no surprise. They always seem to be at the top of the Pelham, not giving up anything as far as they just keep on steamrolling here in Division 2. These two playing each other this year are going to be very exciting. I've got a team that looks pretty good in Bow. I haven't counted them out by any means. They're a team that's 1-1 right now. They're in that group, and they certainly stand out to be where they beat Merrimack Valley. They beat them 42-14, and they lost handily to Pelham. So we're going to see where they go from here. But those other 4 teams in Division 2 are rolling. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize a little delay.
That includes Manchester West, of course. Blue Knights are 2-0, and they will take on Sauhegan next weekend, which may or may not be a game that we cover. All right, Steve, just to finish up with the Division I schedule on Friday, Exeter and Londonderry, that's a rematch of last year's semifinal that was won by the Lancers. Londonderry trying to rebound after that aforementioned loss against Concord. Exeter hoping to stay unbeaten. Another Seacoast matchup to watch, Dover at Winnicott. Warriors, as you mentioned, 2-0. Dover looking for their first win. Spalding at Timberlane. That's another Division I East matchup. Bedford, they've got an out-of-state game. They're going to host Thornton Academy. That's been a rivalry that is brewed, so to speak, over the last several seasons, where Bedford has gotten the upper hand. BG at Keene, that's a 6:30 game Friday night. Goffstown at South, the Nashua North, hoping to remain undefeated, taking on Merrimack on the road. So busy Friday night, but again, I think most of the attention will be where we are, down at Grant Field in Salem, for Pinkerton at Salem. Again, a 7 o'clock kick tomorrow night in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Coming up, we dive into the slate and much more with Pete Terrier, one of the founders of the NHSportsPage.com, New Hampshire Sports Page, always doing great work year in and year out. Pete joins us next, guest number 1 on the other side of the break. You are watching FNL Gridiron right here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. We're presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471 888-858-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Back here on FNL Gridiron. We're live every Thursday at 5:30 here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We are presented by Beals Insurance. We've got Steve Abraham, Salem's longtime head coach, coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Brian O'Reilly, the Pinkerton head coach / athletic director, joins us at 6:15. But right now, set to welcome in Pete Terrier, one of the founders of the New Hampshire Sports Page. Does great work covering really all the divisions every fall and has done so for the last several years. We welcome him in. Pete, looking comfortable as he joins us here live. Pete, how are you?
I'm not actually comfortable because when I was trying to get on my computer to talk with you guys, the thing starts doing an automatic update on me. So I switched to the phone, and we're going to get through it this way, it looks like.
Well, we appreciate the effort for sure, and it looks good from our end. So whatever you did, it works. Pete, I'll open up the floor to you. Where would you like to start? What do you think the biggest storyline has been 2 weeks into the season? Take us anywhere.
Well, first of all, I want to just say that I am not a founder of nhsportspage.com. I just want to make that clear. Dave Haley is the sole founder. I joined him a couple years in when me and you, Nick, were down doing sports radio for the Game and ESPN New Hampshire back in the day. Dave started it 17 years ago, back in 2008, I believe it was, with the football season. And I've been kind of riding his coattails probably since like 2009. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun. And I've only seen 2 games so far, both of them Division I games. I saw the Pinkerton game against Wyndham on opening night. And then I was at the same game you guys were at last Friday at Stello Stadium in Nashua for Bedford and Nashua South. So I guess I'll say that, as much as things change, things stay the same, because to me, Pinkerton and Bedford are the teams to beat this year in Division I anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you saw Pinkerton in week 1, as you mentioned. Steve and I saw an abbreviated preview of the Astros during the Jamboree. Remember, late in that first quarter, the skies opened up and a lot of the starters did not return after the delay. But what was your initial take, I guess, Pete, of Pinkerton. We're going to talk with Coach O'Reilly, obviously, and get the ins and outs there. But they seemed to get stronger as the game went on against Wyndham in that Week 1 win.
Yeah, their defense was really dominant. Wyndham couldn't really move the ball. Now, I don't think Wyndham is, one of the better offensive teams in Division One. D1 is very, very deep, as you guys know. There's some teams that, are going to struggle this year, but I don't think Wyndham's a potential playoff team, but they're not an offensive team. They're a defensive team, in my opinion. But Pinkerton really shut those guys down. Really good linebackers. Their DBs. Brady Spellman's a kid who, can do it on defense and on offense. And the linebackers and the D line, they apply a lot of pressure. They don't have to blitz to do it either. They get there, 4-man fronts, just regular pass rush. The one thing that I would say that's a little bit different about Pinkerton this year, their offensive line is not huge. They don't have 4 or 5 300-pound guys on the line, 6'6" guys. They probably have a couple of those, but it's not the typical huge college lineman type of line that Pinkerton has. So that's just one difference. And I like how Coach O'Reilly, I think for a long time, he's had good athletes there and he's been able to take advantage of that in the passing game. But they've had so much success running the football. Why not do that as much as possible and pick your spots for the passing game? I think this year his quarterback has been around for a couple years. I think that the kid throws a nice ball, Aiden McDonald, and he's really got some playmakers to throw to. I mentioned Spellman. He's more of a wing back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. But this kid, Noah Rayo, who transferred from Londonderry, he's a burner. He's got size. He's got tight ends that he can throw to. There's a bunch of guys, underclassmen, that you only see in like the blowout games because they're so deep and they have young guys with talent. So I think offensively this Pinkerton team is very, very good, but I think defense is really what's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to switch over to the game that you're doing this weekend, Londonderry, I believe, at Exeter, if I'm not mistaken.
Other way around.
Other way around. So sorry. You're right, at Londonderry. Talk to me about that game, Pete. If you got Londonderry coming off a loss of Concord, and you've got Exeter coming off a win against what I think is still a good Portsmouth Oyster River team. They're at 1-1 right now. What do you see in that matchup? And I don't want to say who do you like. I'm not really a predictor guy, but what are the things in this game that we really all need to look for?
Well, obviously it's a kind of a contrast in styles. Jimmy Lozon kind of runs that wide open offense. They've been throwing the ball a lot with their junior quarterback, Sully Daron. And they last year, remember, they used 4 different quarterbacks in most games, within the same game. I don't see that as much this year. Londonderry's super young. They've got a ton of kids on the roster, but I think I saw that he's got like almost 30 juniors. And a lot of those juniors, didn't play last year as sophomores.
Right.
So if you're at a school like Londonderry and you're a sophomore, you're probably not getting a lot of run unless you're like a super sophomore. So these guys are relatively inexperienced. This is a team that has been, a championship contender really ever since Coach Lozon took over, but especially in the past 5-6 years or so. But I think this is kind of more of a rebuild year for Londonderry. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, were surprised when Concord beat them last week in Londonderry. And with Exeter, more of the same. I mean, they're 2-0. They've had 2 close games where they've had to kind of outscore people. They had to come back and win that game against Timberlane on week 1. Coming from behind, they scored a touchdown in the final minute to take the lead. They won that by 4 points, 24-20. And then last week, you saw Portsmouth. You guys did in week 1, I think, against Dover, and they looked very good. And Portsmouth, can score points. They had an injury to their main running back, Jacaris, which is unfortunate. But Exeter with this, and another thing with Exeter, it's got to be every single year they come with this new kid, at running back usually, who is like lights it up. Last year was Batstone. This year it's Max Corzat. I never heard of Max Corzat until this year. And I followed Exeter, in recent years, and I don't think he got many carries last year, if at all. And they usually use a bunch of guys. So I'm looking forward to see this matchup. Coach Lozon is a great coach. I can't imagine they're going to lose 2 games in a row, but you got Exeter on the other side, so that's a real tough schedule. And it should be a fun football game. The weather has been great so far this year. Hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, a little bit of just a good matchup overall. Good history. These two teams have been in the finals. But let's talk about Bishop Girton. I missed them. They were a part of the 2-0 club as well. Where do you see Bishop Girton? Beating the Votech down, called Pathfinder, and then beating Merrimack handily. I saw them in the Jamboree as well. They're coming home basically with what looks like 3 dominant games here. Don't really have a solid contender that I know of they've played, but they're beating them by wide margins early. What are your thoughts on the BG Cardinals this year?
Yeah, they smashed Merrimack last week, and I think they had like 40 points by halftime. I don't know anything about this Pathfinder tech, whether it's for the Nissan Pathfinder or if it's like finding your way type of thing. But they needed an opponent. They found one, and they found one that they could beat. So good for them. I'm going to cover them next Saturday night, Salem at BG at Stello Stadium. Nice Saturday night game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see both of those teams for the first time. That should be a lot of fun. You guys got Salem and Pinkerton tomorrow night, which should be a lot of fun. Is that at Salem or is it Pinkerton?
Yeah, at Salem. Yep.
All right. So the new turf field at Grant Field, that last year, we had to go down to Haverhill, Mass, right, to cover some Salem High School home football. As far as BG is concerned, their line play was a strength last year, and I think they got a few of those guys back. Their quarterback was a sophomore, standout last year, Nate Bowen. He's back. He's a multi-sport athlete. He plays baseball also. I cover him in baseball for BG. He was like a starting outfielder last year as a sophomore, and the starting quarterback is a sophomore. So you can tell that, that's a special, talented kid. He's got run and throw ability. They got a new running back who, they lost AJ Holmes, who was their big running back last year. So I think they've got some weapons. I know Coach Nalen is confident about his team. Just looking at that West Conference right now, you got Nashville South, who is a contender despite the loss. Bedford, BG, Keene, is pretty good. I don't think Goffstown, despite their 0-2, they're on the come, I think. Merrimack seems to have struggled a little bit, but they've played BG and Bedford already, so they've had a real tough start. So look, I think it's still so early, and it's really hard to tell, but I think it's been a fun season so far.
Yeah, let's go down to Division II, which I know you know a lot about Division II. I've got Plymouth, Souhegan, Trinity, and Pelham as strong teams at 2-0. If we're doing the game up there Saturday, I believe you guys are going to be there as well. What do you see in that matchup? Can Trinity go up to Plymouth and get it done up there, or is Plymouth just too strong?
No, I think Trinity can do it. That's nothing against Plymouth. Dave Haley's going up there to cover it. You guys have been up there before. It's a great venue for football. Julius Field. The fans are on the hill. You got the foliage this time of year, the mountains in the background. It's going to be like 65, 70 degrees up there. It's going to be a great day for it. Last year I covered the Trinity game against Plymouth. It was in Manchester, and Ben Valenti ran for 300 yards that day. Plymouth just ran all over Trinity that day. And, Plymouth was a semifinal team last year in D2. They lost a lot That's a great program up there, Coach
It is.
Sanborn had. He's already been, I think I saw earlier this year, for like 13 years or something crazy. It just seems like, just yesterday that Coach Lenahan retired, but it was really in 2012. So Sanborn's kind of have a nice tenure going up there. He's also the baseball coach at Plymouth. His son is the quarterback, Kevin Sanborn. He's a baseball player as well, so he can throw it. He threw 3 touchdown passes last week.
Yep.
But Plymouth's, bread and butter over the years is the running game. They usually have a dominant line, and they usually have a slew of running backs who can carry the football.
Yeah.
I don't think that the line is as big this year. Kind of like I was talking about earlier with Pinkerton.
They've been there before. They're just fast and strong. Yeah.
So well coached too. I mean, that's an operation. When they get off the bus, like for a road game, like it's an operation. It's like kind of like a military, setup here, the way they do things, and that's coaching staff, and Tom Lamb and Chris have been involved in a long time, and a lot of those assistant coaches. You grow up in Plymouth as a youngster wanting to play for the Bobcats when you get to high school, because you were at the games when you were a kid, and going to all those championship games, and it's just tradition up there, and football means something special if you're from Plymouth. Now with Trinity, Ollie Service is having a huge year. We put the stats up on nhsportspage.com. He's leading in rushing and passing through 2 weeks. That's a kid that I know well. He's a good friend of my son's. My son's been playing baseball with Ollie for, the last 7-8 years, I believe, back to when they were 12 years old. He's going to UMass on a baseball scholarship. And he's a very good athlete. You remember his older brother, Jack, who was a lefty quarterback. Ollie's a right-handed. I think Ollie, Jack will be mad at me for saying this, but I think Ollie might have a little bit more arm strength than Jack.
Younger sons have an advantage when they get to be behind a great football player. No doubt about it.
He's probably, a little bit taller than his brother, not much. But Ollie's very athletic. He's very fast. They've been letting him run with the football a lot, and he can throw it deep with the best of them. I like Dom DeTone, who's a battering ram. Davey DeRepo is a good receiver for them.
Hey, Pete.
Pete.
Yep. We're gonna run out of time, and I really want to say something that I've been. We've tried to get you on the show a couple times. You guys are just everywhere, and I know it's been hard, but we finally got you here. And I do want to say this, and I mean this from the heart. My 2 sons played football in a season of 2012, 13, 14, and 15. And I will tell you, at that time, every Saturday morning, I would go out in my car in my parking lot, in my driveway in Bedford, and listen to you and Dave and your guests and stuff on the Saturday morning show, and just eat it up. And I'll tell you, I will never forget the Pete Terrier call, and probably the most viewed game of any other football game that I've seen on YouTube, and that was the Thanksgiving game against Trinity against Central, where Pete Terrier said, "And we got a full-grown Donnybrook on going on out there." If you remember that well. So I just wanted to say, Pete, you don't realize that all these years that you've done what you do, and Dave has done what they've done, you're part of history, and the history that you guys have given, that I was able to share with my 2 sons. They were tuned into you guys all the time, watching the stats, watching the shows, watch that game 300 times over and over, and so many other games. You're a legend broadcaster in this area, and I mean that from the heart. And you gave my family a tremendous amount of joy throughout those years, and I want to thank you for that. And I wanted to do it publicly on air, and I've been waiting for a long time to say that, but thank you.
Appreciate it. Look, it's a lot of fun. You won't believe the number of grown-up men that I run into, like out in public, at bars, whatever. And, hey, you're that guy, you're Pete Terrier, whatever. You cover me, you're an NH Sports Page guy. And, like, they're grown men now, like your 2 sons. And, buying me beers and stuff at Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. And, it happens all the time from kids all over the state. I've been fortunate enough. I know you guys are running out of time. I've been fortunate enough to actually cover my own kid who is graduating. He's a senior at Goffstown. He plays baseball and hockey. for Goffstown. So, been able to cover my own kid, which was kind of a thrill as well. So, and my wife finally understands now that I was covering my own kid what I've been doing all these years.
And so I'm here telling you this, while I've had the honor, after my kids have graduated and long gone, to work with another legend here, Nick Anastas, you guys together, a lot of years, a lot of tremendous production, and through the thick and thin of it, and the easy and the hard stuff. And but thanks, Pete, for all that. I mean that. It's still fun, even today, when I tune in, I hear an exciting game or a big call, both of you guys, at the helm. So it's an honor to work with Nick, and it was an honor to listen to you throughout all those years. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry,
Guys, and let's do it again soon. Sorry it's taken so long to get it on.
Absolutely. Say hi to Dave.
All right, we'll do. Enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Will do.
As well, and we'll see Dave on Saturday up in Plymouth. That's Pete Terrier of the New Hampshire Sports Page. Some good stuff there, as usual. All right, we were going to take a break. Instead, full speed ahead. And we're also going to switch the order of the guests, which means that joining us right now is Pinkerton head coach Brian O'Reilly. And we welcome him inside FNL Gridiron here.
What?
It's
I'm
good
here.
to see you. It looks like
Sorry, I'm good. You got me?
In your office / locker room. How are you?
Well, we had a longer practice than normal, and I had to get over to a soccer game and a freshman football game and a field hockey game. I do have another job here. And so when I looked at it, I said, I better jump in the office because I'm not going to make it home in time. So here I am.
Absolutely.
Sorry about the light over my head here.
Coach, is the fall the busiest season for you? It must be, right? Trying to balance the head coaching duties with the athletic director duties, right?
There's no question of that. Absolutely. It's the busiest season because I've got so many things to do. But it's self-induced. I don't have to keep coaching. I can step aside and just be the athletic director, but not yet.
No.
Coach, tell us a little bit about this team. We just spoke with Pete Terrier. He said that your line may or may not be a little smaller than years past, but certainly just as productive, at least through 2 weeks. Your thoughts? I guess we'll start there up front. What are you working with here in 2025 on the offense?
We got some new guys. Smaller, I suppose, because we graduated both our tackles, who probably went at 240 and 235 last year, and they've been replaced by 235 and maybe 215, 220. So I guess technically we're smaller, but we have both our guards back. We have James Caruso at tight end back. Center-wise, we're actually bigger than we were last year. We lost Caden last year, but we're okay. We're okay. And we've also got a pretty good freshman. I've never, ever brought a freshman up on the varsity team as a lineman. I brought up running backs. I brought up receivers. I even had a quarterback years ago where you can protect them. But defensive line, you don't normally be able to get a 14, 15-year-old kid who can handle that. But we have one, and he's starting for us right now.
Wow.
And I would assume that most coaches, when they say, "Oh, there's a freshman starting, we should go at him," I would say, "Go right ahead. Go right ahead," because he's starting because he beat everybody out. So we're okay. We're okay up there, but we did graduate a lot of people.
Who is the freshman coach? Just so we can watch for him tomorrow.
His name is Harry Yuan, Yuan, and he's rotated in there along with our two guards from last year. One's moved over to center, and we'll be okay. We can open up some holes. It's not a weakness of the team. We'll leave it at that. But we did graduate people last year.
One of the people you did not graduate was your starting quarterback. He's back, Aiden McDonald, experienced more with a championship ring on his finger. What has he added to his game for his senior year, Coach?
Probably the calmness aspect that kids have by their senior year, where they've been through it before and everything's not moving as fast as when you're younger, everything comes at you, and you can't focus on anything. But he's got that calmness of a senior, and picked up where he left off last year. He lost some receivers, maybe a Morrison kid and an Isaac kid, and Anthony Caruso is at UNH right now. Cam Dillon's gone too. So receiving wise, we're filling some holes, but we're okay there too. But yeah, obviously Aiden at quarterback helps.
Yeah. And then it seems like, Coach, defensively, it's the younger Caruso that teams need to worry about coming off the edge, right? I mean, he was a beast last year, especially, I thought, late in the season. He really emerged as one of the better players statewide. Is he the guy you look to on defense? Does it start and end with him?
Yes, but there are plenty of others like Joe Osanya and such. But James is tough. James is very tough. Anthony, his brother, was a tough player too, and had the 6'4" height. Is at UNH right now. James has only got that 6 foot, 6.5 inch, and that's keeping people maybe away from him. But I'll tell you what, if you put him in the same room as Anthony, I know who I put my money on. James is a great kid, nicest kid you'd ever want to meet. But when he gets on a football field, there's a switch. There's a switch, a good switch that every football coach wants. Yet he knows how to behave in life. So, 99 is someone you'll notice on the field, always.
Yeah. Steve?
Coach, good to see you again. Good to see you back. And don't really want to hear about Coach O'Reilly heading or stopping what he's doing here. So I was glad to see you're back again. So before I go into this year, one thing I wanted to say that to you and your staff, because it's a whole team of coaches, the work and the play calling that they did to utilize.
I got something's going on here. I got my phone side by side with my computer. You're jumping in and out. Try again. Can you talk?
How is this?
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So
Not you.
It's
when you have a phone next to it and somebody all of a sudden message you or something, it just clicks off. I don't know.
Clicks off. Yeah, no, that's okay.
Technology, technology.
It's all right. It's all right. I just do want to say, though, that, Coach Belichick, dislike him, whatever it is, one of the things he said about the greatest quarterback of all time is he didn't lose games. He didn't do things. He learned not to make mistakes and take it on his own when he shouldn't have. And sometimes that's not kind of a sexy thing as far as being a quarterback, but those are the things that he said was the greatest thing about Tom Brady. Not in any way trying to suggest Aiden is Tom Brady, but I saw in that championship game him do that same thing for you and not make mistakes and followed your mission. If I was ever high military service looking for a guy to build into an officer as a quiet, confident guy and a quarterback that I'd love to play or I'd love to coach, not play, but love to coach, is that guy. And I said, as you know, that last year, I saw him. There's just something special about this guy. But the way that you and your staff utilized your team and the assets they had last year was all about using the best player in the league, best runner back in the league last year in all the right situations when you had short yardage and just down and distance things. So congratulations on a tremendous championship last year. I just wanted to get that out there. It was just a lot of fun to watch the strategy between two great head coaches last year. Let's talk about Aiden for a second. One of the names we didn't bring up was Spellman yet. Where is he fitting in, and how is he doing? I haven't been able to watch the games because I can't find them anywhere. I tried. I have been able to see Salem. I saw you guys in the Jamboree. Where is Spellman right now? Because he was something else to watch. I really enjoyed him on both sides of the ball, Coach.
First of all, tune into Pinkerton TV. We have all of our sports live streamed and put on YouTube. Pinkerton
I did not know
TV.
that.
We're on there.
Okay,
But,
well, that's good. So now I will look at it.
Brady Spellman. I think I got him around somewhere. Yeah. Brady is exactly what you saw last year. Brady is right now like the running back, the number one running back, but it isn't like Matt where no one else is going to carry the ball. Defensively, I mean, that's where he made his name last year, was on defense because of Matt and Jamie in the backfield. He got limited touches, but he's only a junior and tough as nails. And yeah, he's good. He's good. We've got a lot of running backs, a good stable of running backs that I'm working through. I want to prevent what I did last year, which is decide right away who my two running backs were. And then when injuries came about, and we had injuries to Matt and to Jamie, it was a slog there for a while. And I learned from it. And so, if anything, I'm using in practice every day, maybe even too many running backs, but it's okay. It's okay. They'll all work out, and in the end, we'll have the best out there that we can have. But we're doing okay right now.
Word out there is that you're passing the ball. You're getting opportunities to pass the ball more now. I don't know if that's true because I haven't seen, but that's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's true or not. But Aiden McDonald, I watched and see the way he releases the ball and the sort of velocity that he has. How do you feel about that this year? Where he is right now, and are you extending the field? Because I haven't seen you guys yet, other than in that. That was really one quarter in the Jamboree.
We're not passing the ball any more than we did last year because we threw the ball a lot last year.
Bad information, fake news. Then.
Well, no, it's not fake news because we are throwing the ball. It's just that, if you had asked me this a year ago at this time, it's like, oh yeah, we're throwing the ball now, but we're just picking up where we left off.
Okay.
We got Salem tomorrow night, and a year ago against Salem, we threw the ball 36 times in the game, which maybe was a little too much, but we threw the ball a lot last year, and we'll continue to do that. He's one of the weapons that we have, and we have filled in with other receivers, and the idea of putting 8 guys in the box against us probably isn't something you want to do a lot of. But everybody will do whatever they want to do.
Which will make the learning game stronger, obviously, if they realize they can't do that, because it's going to give angles of attack for the linemen to open up some holes, right?
Sure. And I think people know who played us last year what Aiden can do. So they're not going to sit there with one free safety and everybody up in the line of scrimmage. So we'll just leave it at that.
If you go, but I always like to, obviously, a historian as well as still doing it out there, and you've believed in the running game as a coach as far back as going back to the games I watched. I believe it was with Charlie Sherman. I go back to some of those old games, and Tom King was there. He looked like a young fella, and but anyway, you haven't changed much, Coach, but all the other guys have, right? But
that's right. That's the way it is.
When you look at the teams that have traditionally done it and stuck with it all along. 5-10 years ago, everybody seemed to see this intense thing to just spread it out and shred it, and all of a sudden, most everybody seems to be going back and building a foundational running game again. You think that's going to? Do you agree with me? Do you think that's going to continue? And especially at the high school level, because that's what we're talking about here. Because to me, the teams that are finishing are the ones that may have a good passing attack, but foundationally they utilize the run. Your thoughts on where we're going? Where's this great game going?
I think down the road it's going to more and more passing because of 7-on-7, and down the road when I'm long and out of here, I think high school football is going to be more like 7-on-7. But right now, and has always been, you have to be able to run the ball in high school. Everybody watches college football on Saturdays, and you see the spread formation, and it's awesome. But they have awesome athletes everywhere, and particularly, they've got quarterbacks that are like 4-4, 4-3 runners as well as throwing. And so you want that extra attacker. You want that quarterback who's a runner, and the spread offense is the way to go in college. The problem with a lot of teams, not all of them, but with a lot of teams who got into the spread, is like, well, I want to do that too. It's like, well, you have a regular high school kid, a quarterback. He runs a 4.95 40. He can do some damage, but not like what you see on TV on Saturdays. What can you do in high school? What could you always do in high school is you build an offensive line and you teach kids how to block and you teach kids how to run. And you might have a 5'1", 40 fullback, but he knows how to lower his shoulder and run into people. And so forever, when you look at the power programs in this state, it was the teams that ran the ball. It was Exeter, it was Salem, it was us, it was Tom Sawyer and Londonderry, and many others like that. And then the spread came, and some teams did it the right way. They had the right personnel to do it, and they still exist today. Like, I don't know what we're going to do at Bedford with Matthews at quarterback. He's an athlete, one of the best lacrosse players in the country, and you should be right. He's going to run it anyway. Plus, he's got the big running back. But I'll tell you, there are other teams that I look at them and I'm like, I have no idea why you're in the spread. You're trying to spread the field out, but you don't have the athletes to make us cover the field. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I agree with you. And that's why I've always been a running quarterback, much to the dismay probably of people that stand, I can't believe you don't pass. Well, complain to me that we don't pass when we can't move the ball.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
They want to see what they see on Saturdays, and so do I, but we don't have those kind of athletes all the time.
All right, Nick, we're going to have to get him for an hour next time, okay? Because it looks like he's willing to stay.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, Coach.
I never got to talk about how the awesome Salem team, but that's okay.
And they are good. Well,
they beat us last year.
Yeah, no, I know.
But anyway, I'll
they play tough. They play tough there. I'm really excited about Aiden McDonald. If I was a college and I was looking at a guy that I said, well, does great job in handoff. He just executes the mission. And the relationship you have with him has got to be solid because I can see it. He is coming off looking exactly for what you want to do and wants to put it out in the field with a lot of discipline. I love this kid. Anybody who's listening, you want to see a good kid that can play some college football. He's got the gifts to do it. And a good college coach, like you said, with a spread personnel around him, I see that young fella as a guy that could do some damage at playing at the right level. Yep. So best of luck tomorrow night. Sorry about good. I just wanted to catch up on things. Next time we'll get it. Good luck tomorrow night.
You got it.
Love both.
All right, guys. Both of these. Always a pleasure. Always.
Love both of these football teams. They're great teams.
All right.
Great coaches.
Thank you, Coach. That's Brian O'Reilly here on FNL Gridiron. Coming up, the other side of the story with Salem head coach Steve Abraham as we conclude the episode. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Final segment here on FNL Gridiron. Nick and Aston, Steve Beals with you. We're presented by Beals Insurance, and we're live every Thursday at 5:30. We got about 7 minutes or so let's jump right into it. Steve Abraham, longtime Salem head coach, joins us ahead of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire game of the week between Pinkerton and Salem. Coach, good to see you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
We are good. Big game brewing. What's the temperature like this week here, Coach? Big win, obviously, in week 2, and now you've got arguably your arch rival coming up on the docket in week number 3.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about it. So the temperature, it's hot because it's a football game. We only play 9. But here's the other reality, like I told the team. Okay, go look at the team last year that started off 4-0 and I think then lost the next 2. And then they went and won the rest of their games. That was Pinkerton. It's just one at the beginning of the year. So, if we're able to, to pull it off and beat them tomorrow night, great. We got to get better. It's a long season. And if we don't and they beat us, we got to get better. It's a long season. So that's the message. Don't make it bigger than it is. It's a regular season game in week 3.
Trying to control the hype.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's our job, Coach, to pump
I'm
up.
just going to say.
Well, I mean,
Hi, Steve.
yeah, of course. I mean, well, listen, it is Pinkerton Academy. They're the returning champs, right? They've got the winningest coach in the state. And if you've watched them play, they're right now, they're the best team, right? Until they lose and somebody knocks them off, they're the best team. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a great one.
Coach, it seems like that rushing attack is really kind of picking up where it left off last year, despite the fact that you graduated some key seniors who were a part of the program for several seasons. But some of these new faces, at least new to us, seem like they're up to the challenge. What can you tell us about the personnel in that run game?
Yeah, I mean, Colin Selkovitz and AJ Shakrala, they're juniors. They're both, gifted backs. They've actually been starting for us since their freshman year. His freshman year, Colin Selkovitz was the second leading rusher on our team behind Tedisco. And then, Jordan Zanini, he'd come back from a little bit of a illness and injury last year, and he was kind of, he was a great defensive player for us. We didn't use him as much on offense, just spot role. But I've been telling people he's one of the most electric players in the state. I mean, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got great balance. And I mean, I don't care who you play. You can't have 5 touches for 4 touchdowns and 350 yards and do the things he did last week and that we've seen in practice. So I think, listen, we're never going to replace a guy like Tedisco. He's a great running back, but we're deep. And we've got some other guys in there that, Jake Beaudry is a senior, finally getting a chance to play some fullback. And then there's a handful of other guys in there. So it's kind of our motto, next man up, right? And then it's the system that we, that we preach here. So, and then I know we're always going to talk about the running backs, but I was a guard in the wing tee and the straight tee for Salem. And we've got some very good linemen on our team. So, I mean, Jimmy Nelson, that's returning from last year, was one of our best linemen. But Ryan Todd, our captain and senior, who didn't play last year because he was out with an injury, but he might have been our best lineman his sophomore year. If you're not preparing for him, you're making a mistake. He's good, and on both sides of the ball. And as I tell the running backs, I love those guys, but you got to have the guys up front that they're gonna block for you. So,
Steve?
Coach, great to see you again. I can't help it. I'm sorry. You can ask me to stay calm, but I can't when I see this matchup. And it's so exciting for the type of play that you get depending on who's at home field advantage. And Salem and Pinkerton both play very tough football at home. You guys have done that. We've been coming there for years, and those games at home, you guys have taken on really good competition and fared well 95% of the time. one of the things that I would say is Pinkerton, Salem, and Plymouth. Those three programs get their runners to the football line of scrimmage as fast as anybody else, if not the fastest. There are others, but you guys, nobody does it better as far as I'm concerned. I was thinking the whole time before you said it, he's got a system. He's got a system. He's got a system for reload guys and put them into the system and they run it. But talk about that and, your JV coaches, freshman coach, talk about your program here and about that system so we kind of get an idea what you mean by that.
Well, we all practice together. So all of our coaches our freshmen through all our varsity guys, we all practice, do indie periods together. We have what we call EDDs, everyday drills that we do every single day. And listen, I don't care if you're in a power eye, a single wing, you're in a spread system, right? There is ways to block. Are you going to zone block or are you going to gap down block system, right? So we run our system. We work on those things every single day. Yes, we'll have some different plays and adjustments based upon some of our personnel, but some of those base philosophies and system we have. And here's a philosophy. You want to score the ball. It doesn't matter if you throw it in or run it in, right? The bottom line is you got to score the ball. But I'm a big believer, just like I do at work here, right? Like just go with the most consistent and not safest. No, not always safe, but the most consistent way. I mean, if you move the ball 3.5 to 4 yards every play, the defense never gets on the field, right? I think that's a thing that we try to do and also wear them out. It's demoralizing if you can go on a drive and you keep pounding them. And then, again, we can't throw the ball. Like our quarterback had a great year last year, right? And some of those years, a couple of years ago, I think the kid Lumley was maybe been like second in Division I in touchdown passes. So
I like him.
But it's more of a philosophy. Instead of showcasing a kid, you can't in football. You can't, right? We showcase a system and a belief and a mindset of the team is what we really focus on. And then again, you can have 10,000 plays, right? Chip Kelly said it on the thing last year, and it was actually because he played for Jack Gaddy and worked with him, and he was at a conference, and we saw the thing, and he said, Jack, everybody knows like you're going to run waggle and trap and counter and, and buck sweep. And Jack had said, yeah, but my players know how to run it, right? And that's the key, right? Your players have to know how to execute what you're going to do. And in today's world with huddle and everything else, like right? I've just watched Pinkerton's last 2 games. They've watched ours, right? We go and see each other. There's not many industry secrets here. It is football, but it's about how you can execute it. So the more the players have confidence in what you're going to do, and then they believe it, by the way, that's the other one. They have to believe what you're doing. And if you can do that, right, you're going to succeed. No different than owning a business, my friend, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to lead. You have to lead by example. There's no doubt about that. One of the things that I want to ask you also before, but be my last question, Nick, is when you look at the defense of Pinkerton, which is shown, they got some linebackers that can read their keys very, very well and react very quickly. And then I see you as an offense. I just saw it in the Jamboree, and I've watched one of your other games. You guys get to the hole extremely fast. It's just rocket speed when you guys make the plant step. To me, your guards have got to really play a strong game tomorrow night. Your thoughts on how you will go against that great defense and how your great offense is going to be able to do just what you said, 3 and 4 yard. How do you get that done?
Well, we gotta protect the ball and come off the ball. Number one, again, everybody likes to talk about offense, but that defense hasn't given up a point. Coach Rich is an unbelievable coach, and those guys fly around. Watch how they gang tackle. Okay, they're quick and they're fast and they're powerful and they're smart. We have to be able to match that, and we have to be okay with, sometimes we have to be okay with a yard or 2 yards or 3 yards. We can't have negative plays against them. So that's part of the philosophy is just, don't always think that you have to hit a home run because they're fast, they're good. So we have to move the ball forward, and we have to withstand the storm against their defense, right? Again, they're going to make plays. They're the champion for a reason. They're unbelievable coaching staff, and there's some great players in that defense. the 99 on, the defensive end, right? They got the 2 safeties, the linebackers. I mean, going on, right? It's not easy to move the ball on them.
To me, I'm gonna make a prediction. If you can take on their tackles one-on-one and win that battle, those linebackers you have a chance of getting to. But if you've got to double the defensive tackles, I think at that point that's going to be advantage the other way, and that's the way I see a lot of this game going on tomorrow. And I would argue same situation reverse is who's offense, who can control the defensive tackles one-on-one. If you guys can do that, I think you got a very good chance. Great football game, great coaches, great staffs. Both of these teams have great staffs, and that's what makes it so much fun for Nick and I to go to these games, because you're going to see it. All the positions are going to know their jobs, responsibilities, and when you see that, that's when you get the real clash. So I know it's just another game, but it isn't to us. So best of luck tomorrow night. 2 great teams, 2 great coaches, 2 great programs. That's what this is all about. It's awful easy to love.
Huh? Sorry, is it your first time on the new field, the turf field? Is this your first game you've done on our turf field?
Yes, it is. We're excited about that. Yeah.
That's nice.
A little more speed. Yeah. So best of luck, Steve. It'll be a lot easier when you have these kind of games, when you're lugging those suitcases up there of all the camera stuff. It's a lot more fun doing it when you know you got this coming, because you can't wait for it to get started. So good luck tomorrow night. As always, Steve, thanks for coming on. Go ahead, Nick.
Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Coach. We're looking forward to that new turf as well.
Yes.
And just really gearing up for what should be a great football game. We appreciate you joining us tonight, Coach. I know you're busy as well. And best of luck tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night.
See you there, Steve.
Thank you. Steve Abraham, Salem head coach, wrapping up the show, doing a great job through 2 weeks. He's got Salem at number 3 in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll. More importantly, 2-0 so far this season. I want to thank our guest, Pete Terrier of the New Hampshire Sports Page, the aforementioned Steve Abraham, and, of course, the great Brian O'Reilly, head coach / athletic director at Pinkerton Academy. Tomorrow night, we are on the air, 6:45 with our pregame coverage ahead of that 7 o'clock kick between Pinkerton and Salem. It's our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week, presented by Beals Insurance. Saturday, we're right back on the road, going up north for a Division II battle between Trinity and Plymouth. That's a 1 o'clock kick. Our coverage begins at 12:45. For our director, the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, Ben Beals, orchestrating things flawlessly back in the Beals Insurance Studios, and my partner, executive producer, Steve Beals. My name is Nick Adastis, saying so long. We'll see you next Thursday on FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.